I'm
just upsets me that you
I'm on
watch
Moana right now. You think of them just again leaving up into
Like this
it's like
so I
I'm
was
naturally doing this.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 17 of the Three Fates podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Deanne.
I'm Pam.
And I'm Meredith. I hold the archetype of death.
I'm Birth.
Really?
No, I'm not. Whoa.
Really?
Look at us all like looking at you. That was interesting.
Okay.
I am most definitely life.
Okay.
I love being life. All about life. All about life. Birth is on my mind is all.
Birth is on our mind.
Birth. Should I say I'm life? No, wait. I'm birth. We'll trade it back. No, legit. Like, what? I was about to say life. I'm legit birth.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all
Half
mixed
the
up
time,
right
I don't
now,
even
apparently.
know, guys. I don't even know. But it's all good.
Yeah.
So, some big energy.
Some big
September's
changes.
been wild. Summer's been big. It's been a big year, actually. I don't know if you guys are feeling that too.
Just slightly. It's been a really
And then
big year.
September, yeah, big. Didn't September though, like back into like just like quick astrology piece? Didn't September go back into Pluto
Yeah.
Capricorn?
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of eclipse. It was
Yeah,
eclipse
that's what I
season
thought. Yeah.
through September.
So lots. I never keep track. I'm never like, oh, your sign's gonna do this. I'm just like, I'm just in it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what comes up. So, which leads us to, I guess, a big episode today because it's the end of maybe another beginning for us, but also a bit of a death here and an ending of, as you all know us, is the Three Fates. And who knows what births from this, but yeah, can I say a little bit of the backstory with it? Yeah. Love my girls. Love my Robin behind the camera. But as birth, I've had lots of deaths or death energy come up for me in September. And also, I also want to say like redefining or definitions around space, time, energy, where I'm going, what am I doing, all of the things. And when something feels, I want to say denser or harder, or all of a sudden it's not as an easy, in my energy field, I start to question why or what is it. And so my questioning led me to more processing led me to the hard decision of exiting the podcast for myself. So we're a trio, so that leaves my gals in an interesting position. And I'm curious to see energetically what all of this unfolds today. But I know deep down that this is the right decision and path for me for my next expansions or my next births that are coming up that I have no idea what they are, but having to let some things go in life. So that's where I'm at, and that's kind of the big topic today and the hard topic today, because it's not because of bad feelings or something went wrong. It was just listening to an energy that's been woven through me. And so I'm just trying to live my best, authentic, true self where things feel open and easy. So it's been a wonderful ride and slice thus far. I've learned so much. And I'm also just curious today to see how this wants to show us, I think, in energy as we channel a little bit of the Three Fates. I think that would be good, so that you as our listeners and our viewers feel like there is space held for you guys who have been along this journey and this path as well, that you also feel safe and held in what's going to be completed here today. Gals, anything as I look over?
Yeah, I'm just like soaking it in and just feeling into, I can kind of feel our viewers and listeners right now, and just kind of feeling the energy there, and definitely want to hold space for everyone. That's really important to me. And I know, we've got some beautiful comments over the past few months. People really listening and hearing people with activations and comfort and expansion and what they know the world to be and life to be, and like there's just so many more concepts that they never knew about, and that it really was for some people I know like a big part of their life, and they would really be eagerly waiting for this every second Monday for an episode to come out, and it was it was a special thing that we created here. Special to me,
Unique too.
so unique, and that's something I love about the episodes we've recorded is it's so unique. And I was just like, I love that we're the weird ones. I love that we are we're a niche. Like we're not going to be for everyone, but the people that are going to be listening to us are the ones that are ready for the weird, ready for the quantum, ready for the multidimensional, ready for the galactic, ready for all the things that we were representing, ready for the earth stuff. Like we were speaking about so many things that life is really made up of, and we didn't really limit the realms that we went to speak about life and birth and death. And I personally don't know any other podcasts out there that kind of held that type of open conversation in like just a normalizing kind of a way, without kind of hiding our words or our experiences. And we were just quite open and authentic, and it might have freaked some people out, but some people really got liberated from it, and they really started to step into their own weirdness and expand their own mind and what life really carries. And I think that was really unique and super special. And I'm just really proud that we did it. Mm-hmm. Super proud. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that. Yeah. The words are really, I'm just, again, feeling into that. I can feel myself shape-shifting. So curious what that is. But I'll stay as me for a little bit here. Meredith.
I'm like, come on, shapeshifter. I'm like, I love you, Mare, but who are you now?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I have to mention which we. I'm rarely alone, even if I'm alone in my physical body. I think one of my favorite things, and it's just kind of coming to me now after your reflection, Pam, and feeling into how it has affected people, as well as myself, because this has been a really interesting thing too. I often feel like we've created something that just feels really intimate. And so I feel like I'm just talking to my friends. And so I haven't edited, I haven't really thought. And then every once in a while I would be like, oh, right, someone's listening, and I feel into that every once in a while. And my hope was always that it would be healing and expansive for people, because my personal journey was one that was so quick and fast, which I've shared about, where I have not had a huge community that felt safe or interesting, or I shouldn't say interesting, but that felt right for me, in this exploration of the quantum, and it's in exploration of alternative forms of healing to my traditional teaching, my traditional experience as a nurse, has become incredibly important to me. And being able to access these like places where we can hear ourselves, or we can have aspects of ourselves witnessed as listeners or as the one doing the speaking, because I've learned from these gals probably way more than I feel like I've ever shared. Because when I'm the one that does the write-ups, and so I go back and I listen to all the episodes, and I even when I'm listening, I'm like, oh wow, oh holy. And I've been able to see this like trail of things, and often things that we've talked about in the episode, I've noticed how in the time that since it was released and then into the next one, many aspects have come true. Many aspects were foreshadowing parts of our own lives, parts of our own growth. And I understand that as it happens for us, it also happens for our listeners, because there's no separation. And so being able to have a place to explore, again, more openness around what does healing look like? Who do I look like? Who actually am I in this vast idea of a quantum, as well as this human being, has been really, really special to me. And so, yeah, I feel deeply grateful for having the opportunity to create something with people that I love. Mm-hmm. And that's like an imprint that I'll carry always. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for a foreshadowing aspect, that's an interesting point that you make up, because the second last episode 15, was the Akashic Record episode. At the end of that, we were channeling the Three Fates story, and there was like this energy of the Three Fates kind of spending some time apart, like the three girls kind of split a little bit there. And there was an energy in the story that they do come back together in some way and form, like later, way later in their life as the Weavers, because it became the Three Weavers afterwards. I have no idea what that means for this trio, but there was a foreshadowing of some sort of space between the girls, and that was just really interesting. That this, then as that episode marinated, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
I didn't really put two and two together until you guys had mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah. 'Cause I usually go back and re-listen to them too, and especially if I'm going to do the art for it or whatever. And yeah, that was one that I hadn't re-listened. But when you said it, I was like, it's like that energy, or I could feel it more or less and I can still see it. I can still see the image, that how it came through and what we talked about. And I was like, oh, interesting. So yeah, so interesting. And I'd be curious if we could tap back in, maybe. Where are you guys at? Do you feel like kind of going into the archetype again through the Akashics, or just do you want to just see naturally what comes up today? Just to observe
I'm still curious about what you're shape shifting into, because you're still shifting. I can feel and see.
Yeah.
So, any clarity there yet? Ooh.
And for those that are just listening, we're just observing Meredith coming into an energy here. So we're just taking some time to go within. Eyes are closed.
That's very intense.
Yeah. Do you see it?
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay, go ahead, Pam.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm
what
just
I
asking you to
see-
observe, and I'll hold it.
What I noticed, and maybe this is not what you're seeing, but what I'm noticing is a really intense fight. So is that what you got to, Robin?
Well, I was seeing an elephant like going on his feet and just grabbing on the ground.
Right. So that's the aggression part. Like, yeah, when they're about to like rear and yeah, and I just see like a lot of. Actually, I see, which is really interesting because we're not fighting, but I saw the three of us actually pushing and shoving and fighting, which was really interesting and really odd and strong. What came through for you, Mare?
It's still evolving. I just feel like a really old face laying over my face. Like I feel wrinkled.
I see it long too.
And, but like wise. Behind there's like wisdom. And I can just feel it like projecting out in front of us here. So I feel like I'm holding that. And I'm just seeing little images right now, back and forth.
What are the images?
Well, now it's an elephant because Robin said it was an elephant.
I really saw the trunk coming from you, the
tusk.
Fence, this, and I saw the wrinkle as well.
What's the elephant totem?
I mean, if you look Ganesh, it's overcoming obstacles, but there's more than that for sure.
Yeah, because they can be huge in also fertility.
But there's also like in that type of aggressive. In your Robin, in your imagery, is it a lone elephant? Is it by itself?
Yeah, I feel like. Well, now I see all the other. Now I see like plenty of other animals gathering around the elephant.
Well, if there's usually like a lone bull elephant, like a male elephant, when they've been kicked out, if there's been a removal of them out of the herd, they get really aggressive and really like that, like kind of rearing at you. So I saw that lots when I was in Africa. You see like one lone, really kind of aggressive male elephant that was like they've got kicked out of the herd. And is that so? I'm just wondering if you see it like alone or if you see it with a herd of elephants.
So now what I'm seeing is that the aggressivity, the aggression part wasn't really an aggression, but just like something to make noise and more things like, hey, like attention, everyone. And now I see like all sorts of different animals like coming to the elephant and just are kind of around. I see like trees also, and it's like there's like a giraffe, like monkeys, there's like all sorts of different
I can feel the animal kingdom around it too, like you said. Like but I do see like the highlighted big elephant there. But then I can see like I can feel that too.
I saw that, like I saw when I was in Africa, there was one elephant that did exactly what you're saying that I connected really deeply with. And I have a photo of him in my room. Like I took this awesome photo and we were in our vehicle and he was just doing that exact kind of trunk thing and kind of like kind of wanting to almost like engage with our vehicle. It was really fascinating. And there was something about an energy exchange. So I'm really feeling that elephant again. There was a big, like kind of heart to heart a conversation, but it felt like, if I looked at it then, it felt like he was trying to charge our vehicle and say, get off our road. But now if I'm kind of tuning into him, I feel like it's more like, hey, I've got something to tell you. So the energy there is still shifting a little bit. So that's interesting. Where are you at, Mare? She's not there yet. No, that's totally cool. I'm, I was curious.
If you were to look at that elephant now,
Yeah.
what would it say? Now that you know, like what you thought versus can you receive the message now?
Well, it's kind of looking at all the whole animal kingdom and looking at all the animals beside and behind. And the words I'm hearing is, keep the tribe together.
there's all these different animals and getting that we're all different but we're all one. There's this unity energy and everything is looking, well, it's like every species are looking very different but it makes one,
Which is exactly what Earth is. We're just all sorts of species here hanging out on this rock.
Well, I'm trying to find and define unity consciousness, I think, and we said it in the very beginning in all our unique ways, I think, right?
I feel like
Not the
sharing
same.
now. I told Pam for like a second this morning, but yesterday I went into like a fairly deep meditation and felt into these energies, and I can feel them kind of reminding me now, like I'm not me yet. I'm talking, but I'm not me. This energy is very much over me. But felt that unity of that idea. And I felt these two babies come, and one was birth and one was death. And they were on the breasts of like Gaia. And it kept going back and forth between darkness and life and death and birth. And they came as twins, and they were twins in this birth. And it was just very clear there's room for us all here. And she said very clearly, Gaia, I am both, and I will always be both. And it feels like this wisdom message of I am both birth and death in that. And it's just making me think of like, yeah, the unity consciousness that we're bringing forward, that we're talking about, where all aspects are ourselves. Like there is no separation, but there is that individuation is also what makes it so special. And the importance of the individuation of each of those gifts. And I feel like if I was that elephant, I feel like I'm shifting into it now and reminding everyone of like their individuation being the key to how it all actually works, each one bringing a special presence, a special energy, a special frequency that is so deeply required. And The evolution of these like genes and changes and things that are coming are also so deeply required to be able to do what we are asking to do, what our hearts are asking us to do, why we're even here, why we are honoring this earth, why we want to do what we want to do, following those inklings, following the stories, stepping into the shadows, stepping into the death, stepping into the birth, so you can embrace this life is unchanged. This wisdom is unchanged from the beginning. And so trusting it is actually the most powerful and aligned thing you can do, because the picture is always so much bigger than you think. And it's like that micro becomes the macro. And now I'm just asking that everyone like looks into their heart with this, because that is where this change like starts.
Yeah, that beautiful place of that unity consciousness and the oneness, but still the sovereignty of each individual expression. Like being able to understand the importance of both and embody the importance of both. How do I be me, fully sovereign, and completely connected in the oneness?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely this feeling of like the three fates going on their like sovereign adventures, whatever that means, but in that still unity place of like holding those archetypes, holding the oneness, holding that unity, holding eternity, but going to different types of realms, different frequencies, different vibrations, different dimensional places to learn and become.
I'm sort of
No, go ahead.
I'm sort of seeing this interesting observation of like something in which this has set in motion for many, and for those that might stumble across the podcast in a year or two, is that maybe there's like this honoring that we like gift what's already been woven a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, say it more.
Like as in, you know, it's almost like there's a matrix that we've created here, right? And so instead of like wrapping it up in a little bow and just dropping it or leaving it and then us untangling or walking away, there's this opportunity to hand it out like gift bags. Do you know what I'm sort of saying? Mm-hmm. Like, and it's like, if you find it here, here's a piece of it. And to me, it feels like this like land, maybe it's earth, or if we just put a vision to it, like this is a house that exists, always occurring, whether we are always in that house and they come to find us there and we're not, you know, but there's a gift endlessly, right, with it. Mm-hmm. Is sort of the way I'm seeing it. That there's a dispersion, I guess, more than it just held in one spot. I guess I'm sort of seeing it like, if I could even put it quantumly, that there's more motion with it. Like we're sending it out a little bit. Sending it out.
Like, and that's something like, as I feel into that, there is an energy with me that says like, I don't want to have my energy in something I'm not holding consciously.
Yes, and my energy says I don't want to hold something forever.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, if I was to, of course, let it go into the world, I have to completely let go of it.
Yeah.
Like it's for me, it feels unsafe for my system to
do that,
to hold something that I'm not nurturing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it feels overwhelming to continue to hold it. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to hold it for humanity forever. Because for me, it's that this is a place that you come to grab a tidbit and there's gifting in it, but I don't have to hold it forever. I didn't start something to hold it for my whole lifetime. But it's out there for a lifetime. So people are going to receive it for a lifetime. And they will discern, even if I had a conversation with somebody, they're going to take that for a lifetime. I'm not going to monitor it my whole life. Do you know what I mean though? Like that's kind of that same energy, I guess, is what I'm feeling. That's part of this feeling of it pulling, of holding almost too much, that's not my responsibility. And that makes my system feel very overwhelmed and unsafe. So maybe that's part of the juxtaposition, or not the fight, but that tension or that pull that you might be feeling, perhaps. I don't know how Meredith feels about that and being like death, but
I feel like I'm just going to hold it.
yeah.
I feel like I'm just like, I feel like, and I don't feel like fully myself yet, to be honest. I feel more of like in that Gaia energy still, or that Mother Earth energy, where I just see like literally all those animals and all the things, and just like pulling them into my arms and nourishing from below, nourishing from above, as I've always done. And so those energies, these archetypes, they're a part of me as like time and space, as anything in this dimension is. Like Earth doesn't exist without like birth, life, and death. And so I just feel this like really loving energy, taking it in. Anything you don't want, anything you want to cut, anything is like, that's totally fine. We use these like cycles of birth and death and life and choice and free will. And it just feels like and it feels very soft in my system. And it feels very easy for me.
Can I ask if you guys can invite a new birth?
I'm not there yet. I'm actually still moving through this energy of this. It's too soon. Like right now you're feeling the peace, but I'm starting to feel the anger.
Yeah, please.
And so like I can't birth something if I'm still not like this hasn't totally ended for me. So that for me to see that yet is just not fair.
Yeah.
So like and it's like there's an like a scream inside my body. Like I'd want to like, one of those big screams that you want to like rip your clothes off and scream and pound onto the ground and like hit the soil and like fucking sob.
Yeah.
Like that kind of gut wrenching anger. That's what I'm feeling right now. Not towards anybody. Just what I'm just feeling the energy of anger. And behind that, it's like the voice behind the anger is there's a sob and a grief, and it says it's too soon.
I can see how there's a layer of, we all personally hold life, birth, and death within us. So I'm not saying I'm not holding those energies that is in the unity consciousness. I get that we're all trying to be inspired in those three segments in our own consciousness to give to the unity. That feels good in my system. I think I'm talking more personally with what we are holding on this stage in a little bit more of an amplified way, that when my energy enters into really deeply that archetype, it feels too much now for my system. So I don't know if that helps, but it might not, but I'm just explaining that there is a dual aspect of, I can understand what I'm holding, but coming in and then feeling the sense of holding birth longer than being able to pop out. And it feels like I'm holding it then for a bigger stage and a mass amount of people that is connected to our matrix. That is too much for my system. But internally, I recognize the unity conscious of birth, life, death, in that we all hold, or we're all feeding into it in pockets, and I'm fine with that. That does feel easy in my system. When Meredith, you were talking just this last piece, I was like, I wonder what you feel at ease. You were sensing that ease, and I could feel it. And I was like, where in my body would I identify that in birth, life, death for me? And it does feel in the scale of the whole. But I think when I come into just the archetypes here in what we've placed, so it's more, I think, a personal versus.
Yeah, she's just lifing.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I didn't know if that would just help.
That's what life looks like. I totally hear everything you're saying, and I deeply respect it so much. And it's like so powerful to be able to know like oneself, and to know when that is, like honoring that death or honoring the ending is like I'd love to talk about that in conversation, because fuck, that's hard sometimes, right? Like it comes up and it brings up all kinds of things. And what Pam's feeling is part of it. Like that's one of those things that when you feel that, it means that you go through all those things as life, right? That's like that in between. Yeah. You've got to, like when these things come up, when change happens, when we do go into these cycles, it's not like, I'm birthing, like life, la la, and like death, I'm sad. That's not how it is. It's all the fucking things and all the time, part of my language, right? And so then it's like, oh man, like when you actually become present with what's there, or whatever that energy is, there is anger. I was mentioning, I was like bargaining and denial, and like, then like grief and sadness, and then like joy and gratitude and like awe and wonder. It's like all the things at every one of those stages, I think, of birth, life, and death. And that's like, it doesn't matter. Like I've experienced all of them, like grace and awe at birth, at life, at death, right? Anger, sad, like it's just all there. That's what it is. And so honoring that that's what's in like Pam's system, and I can already feel it moving through, right? And sometimes that is a primal scream. Sometimes it is like, y'all know I love laying in a ditch, right? I love to lay down and existential crisis it out. But the more we allow ourselves to just feel that and be in that, the more we're here, the more powerful we are, the more in our everything. And from that place, we connect so much more deeply. And I felt a lot of just resistance for a second, and it's slipping now, which is really great. Meaning like, you just ease into allowing this energy to flow and not trying to, I think sometimes we can really get, and I'm not saying that's happening here at all. It's not, but like we have this preconceived outcome of how something should look, or how, when we decide to make a change or we decide to go, of how it will go. But you've got to go through all the steps while that happens. You can't just like, then, like this will be, it's, and I think I know and Pam were talking too, it's just like seeing anything future right now just doesn't seem possible because it's like a block. And whenever there's a block, and I know for myself, like it feels, I don't want to push anymore. I was saying that deeply, like I've gone through a lot of personal changes in the last like month or two too, and partly all part of this because we're all connected, but it's like, I just don't want to push stuff anymore. And so if it's there, it's a yes. And if it's not, like, I'm happy to wait and hold that patience to be able to see, like, even just right then when I was like bringing forth that energy for the first little bit, I was like, I know there's this energy here and it's intensely feeling through my body, but I don't know what it wants to say yet. I don't know what it looks. And then I get observation and then it flows. And I was like, great, thank you. But I have to sit in that like uncomfortable awkwardness for a second. And like my ego's like, you said you have an energy. Like, what the fuck? Like, you got to say it. And it's like, it just takes a little bit of time sometimes. And I think that honoring that timepiece is really important for these kinds of things, to allow stuff to come forward for any kind of change that you're navigating, because you just don't know until you go through it.
Oh, for sure.
There's no replacement for the experience, right? And we can think all the things, but you just got to go through it.
And if I don't go, like, if anger is stuck in my body, how can I birth anything new? Like that anger is what creates action for something to move. And that's part of life, to move. Like I always embrace all my emotions, no matter what they are or how uncomfortable they are. And it'd be to bypass that would be awful in my system.
Have you guys ever made anything out of anger? Can you guys think of any time like acting out of anger? I grew up in like a household that anger was like, with like masculine, that was like, the only like normal expression was, or acceptable expression, I should say, was like anger. And I'm just thinking now too, and it's pulling me into like how we express in our masculine, and how much can be like the doing with association. And I'm thinking about the frustration or the anger, and like when you're acting from that place, how tight it feels, how constricted it can feel. And that's not healthy anger. You're talking about healthy anger, but that's kind of came forward of like what happens if you don't.
Oh, for sure.
Or if you try to like create anger. It from like, try to create it from a place of like, fuck it, like, I don't know. It's hard to action anger in like a creative way.
Well, it's funny because I speak a lot to clients about anger quite a bit, actually, because I've had such a history of pathological anger in my upbringing too.
Oh, interesting.
And so I've like really deeply tried to understand anger and like a healthy expression. And what I feel when I move anger, this anger moving through my body feels really healthy. It feels really healthy. It doesn't feel restrictive or constrictive. It feels expansive. And it feels like the more I move through my body, the bigger my energy field gets. And what I can recognize as healthy anger, when you channel healthy anger through your body, it ends up feeling like passion.
Nice distinction. I love that.
Like I'm like that works like it's so worked up inside that I'm passionate about it, you know?
I'm suddenly so attracted to you.
Right?
I can feel that energy shifting. I was like, okay, there she is. There's creativity. All right.
It truly. And then if you think about any revolution that happens in the world to create like a deeper equality and humanity comes through anger that turns into a passion, that turns into this project of something like of revolution or deeper human rights and that kind of stuff. So like I'm really passionate about this one thing, but I'm going to start it with anger.
I'm thinking about your elephant again now of like, get off my road. You know, like when we start to make a stand for something we believe in, right? Yeah. Whatever it is, there's that creating from that kind of anger versus like a grief anger is different, right?
Totally different.
Yeah. Or frustration anger.
Anger always gets my house clean.
Do you clean angry?
I clean angry.
Really? Because you hate cleaning or just like...
I have to have that movement. I have to have momentum, like something to push me. Because if I'm having like a day where I'm like, airy-fairy, I'm like, I want to be out and about. I want to hang with my kids. I want to do something other than cleaning. And I always find I wait to a pocket in my cycle, actually my menstruation, where it hits me and I'm like, yep, today's the cleaning day. Because I don't resent it. And I actually feel like I have then an energy to do it. And it helps me to process then, because then I can be busy. So it's not like when I'm in like a deep throe of like anger, I have to go and clean my house. It's not like that. It's almost like I can feel it in my cycle kind of like build. And it'll be like a day where it would be maybe more or less like my PMS day or something. And I'm like, oh, there's just so much restlessness or an energy that I need to process in my head, and keeping my left brain and body busy cleaning gives me that opportunity to just like be in a zone. And then it's like, damn, I cleaned my house, I processed, and it feels good. And I don't feel like that I had to sacrifice time because I was like in the right energy to do it. So
I love that. I wish
it's
my anger
interesting.
was productive.
Yeah. And I don't actually put like necessarily a cleaning day on me, like I grew up being like, Sunday's your cleaning day. And it was like, I would be angry about that. Like, I don't want to clean on Sundays. And so, yeah, there's tidying and things that happen, but I wait until I have the energy to actually feel productive with cleaning, that I don't resent it. So that's my big cleaning day. I don't know when it's going to come. I just wait for it. But it's usually like once a month or twice a month or whatever, where it's like the deep, like I got to wash my floors and all that kind of stuff. I mean, my bathroom gets done a week. Okay. It gets done every week. My bathroom. Okay. Okay. It's like the bigger,
what
like,
about sheets?
I'm
That's
seeing a schmutz. Yeah.
What are sheets?
My
It's
sheets are
polarizing topic
my
for
hubby
people.
likes the sheets. He's good with the sheets, but he does that usually weekly. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like the steam mop the floors because there's the schmutz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways.
I always get hurt when I try to do something in that anger.
Right.
It takes me out so fast. Like a fence will fall on me, or I'll trip, or I'll like, it's immediate. It's like, no, immediately, no, immediately, no, jail. They're like, we've had enough of that in ancestral lineage. Like, boom, you're done. And then I just cry and I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I can't do that in anger either.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I go into that. When do I usually, I don't know. I just wish I had more time to like clean how I really want to clean. I have the Virgo rising in me, so I wanted.
I have to clean when I know that I have to be creative and do something like a project. I've got a lot of work to do. I can't do the work until my house is clean.
Oh, okay.
So then I have to clean and organize, make sure everything's perfect and spotless and shiny, and then I can sit and then create and work and be on my laptop.
Why your house is always so clean?
Yes.
You're just so creating so much stuff.
Creating so much stuff that I can't have to, everything has to be like angled a certain way, like super, like I've got like, like I've got even I can tell if somebody's moved a crystal like slightly by a centimeter and I got to go adjust that.
You cannot. Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like every single item in my house is placed really intentionally.
Wow.
Like
I'm going to start moving stuff when I come over.
Oh God. I wish I could live that way.
I wish I'd known this earlier. I'd just be like,
And I'm like, ooh.
You're like the field is off.
I'll catalog everything you do, and I'll go and adjust it after you left. After you leave, I'm like, oh, that was a quarter inch that way. Just doesn't feel quite right.
Walk around with a mini tape measure.
She just has her matrix eyes on.
Yeah. I let my bedroom be a little bit of a bomb. That's the only place. Like there is clothes on the ground, and
it's hard not to, man. It's so, I don't know. I sometimes wonder, I have like a couple of things that I really don't like about myself. And one of them is I have a terrible habit of leaving cupboards open and drawers. Too. I just leave them open and walk away. Yeah, and then I come back and I'm like, what the hell? Why is this open? And it's like, because you left it open. It's you. You're the problem. And I remember when I lived alone, I hate scary movies. Hate them. Can't do horror. For obvious reasons. They stick with me for a long time. And there was this one, I can't remember what it was called, and I refused to look too deeply into it because I don't want it to come back. But like something was haunting this house at night, and the people would get up and like they had the video camera on it, and they would just watch the cupboard open, like on the, like the Ring cam or whatever it was. And people would come in the morning and like the cupboards were all open. So when I lived by myself in Edmonton, I would come out of my bedroom and I'd be like, because I didn't left the cupboards open. And I was like, something's in here. I was like, no, again, it was just you. So once again. And like people know in the house too, like, they're just like, oh yeah, it's just Meredith. Just leave cupboard.
But
whatever,
you know what's weird? I do that.
Open.
And he's like, Dee was in the kitchen. Because everything's open. Like, I don't know.
I don't consciously
I think
I'm
going to go back to it.
No, I don't even do that. I'm like, got my thing next. It's
guys.
so annoying. It's so annoying. I don't like it about myself.
Just constantly going back behind you girls and just shutting everything down.
You need to keep it tight.
Let's keep it tight. Oh man, it's so funny. Like I'm always in that energy of like, ooh, why are we talking about cleaning? What do we need to clean up?
Yeah.
Of course, right? So like this is beautiful energy of anger moving through, and you're clean when you're angry, and then there's like a cleanup energy here that we're talking about. And so there is this energy here today too in this episode of making sure that all the loose ends are cleaned up, are all tied up, that we're not leaking anywhere as we kind of wrap this all up. And that's really important. Like that for me, I'm like my eye for detail and that type of thing. I'm like, I want every little piece to be perfect, placed perfectly, angled perfectly, on this way out, so that we all feel supported, that we don't feel depleted, and the energy of what we put out there is still birthing things for people, like you said, the gift bags.
But that's not tied to us.
That's not tied to us.
Yeah, in terms of like
and like in a cleanup way.
Yeah. And in general, energy, things like that, people, I talk to clients about that all the time, like boundaries and how to like tie things up so that we aren't unconsciously leaking, or cords, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Right. So I think that's really important that we honor that here today.
I do. Too. Yeah. And there's a thing coming through right now that I would like to invite our listeners and our watchers to do for us.
Okay.
At this point, like when you have a moment after listening to this episode or watching this episode, I would love if you could take a breath, and kind of see like a hand on your belly, a hand on your heart. And if you wouldn't mind just breathing and releasing the three of us humans off of your energetic field, just kind of breathing and releasing us off of your energetic field. And you're more than welcome to continue to hold the 3 fate archetypes in your life and the conversations of these episodes, but just to be mindful of our humanness here, and take a breath and just kind of, with so much just ease in your own body, just releasing just Deanne, Pam, and Meredith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a small request.
That was perfect, because that's what I was saying with like, they get to keep the gift bags.
Yeah.
But they're not staying at the party for life.
Yeah. That feels good.
Yeah. How's the elephant now?
It's interesting. The elephant for me looks like though he's an elephant body, he's like, there's also an overlay of one of the big cats. Like he needs like preening and licking himself. Like
I saw that too.
Like, so it's like kind of lion and elephant energy at the same time.
It also actually went into a little bit of like a, even though I'm seeing it as a ginormous looking elephant that you would think it's full term or like grown up, it looks like a baby. Or it's doing things that are more innocent. actually.
And just like that cleanup part, like I can see it like cleaning its skin off. So there is a cleaning energy here too, which is cool. What'd you see? Rob, what'd you see? You're connected with this elephant too.
Now I see the elephant sitting like on his
Butt.
and like kind of I still see like all the others around, but I feel like it's just seated and they're all just like chilling and discussing. I feel this whole thing is really leading toward the fact that whatever separation there is, it's a reminder that each and every one of us, we are embodying anyway, like birth, life, and death, and this is not separated, although it was embodied and separated to really go deep into each. But I feel like it's getting into, and I keep seeing like, 'cause usually I see like a line above people, and I keep seeing this, you guys one going into one. And I feel like this whole thing is about just like unity and reminding that anyway, your birth, life, death, your birth, life, death, your I. But I'm wondering this connection with like the animal kingdom and why was it through this, but really the elephant is, I think the wisdom, like you said, is really like calm down, like don't worry.
Yeah, the energy that came through very first when I felt that old face was an elephant never forgets,
Oh yeah.
right? And the wisdom of like this, just knowing, that deep knowing of wisdom that kind of transcends all of these cycles, right? And coming into that place of trust. And what's really been resonating for me too lately is this idea of like tending your community, tending the earth, tending to each other, right? Tending to yourself. And in that, all things balance. So yeah, I just feel like that. It just feels like a timeless wisdom.
I think it's also like the easiest way to find it is through animal kingdom and nature, right? Because it always exists without, like, it just has that intuitive wisdom, right? And like it goes back to like our starseed episode and stuff too, of you being such a keeper of the animals and the earth. So thanks, Mare, for bringing all that like animal love
But
in
all my
today.
friends to the yard.
Yeah, she's like, the earth needs to remind us.
Sometimes it is easier though when we look at nature, right?
It is
Like our human
easier.
existence can kind of get complicated.
Yeah.
Or our perception of it feels complicated, but we are nature, right? When we choose to come here, when we choose to embody, when we choose to have a life, we are nature. And the more we remember that, the more we get closer to our own truth, because it's that unity, right? Truth. It is the truth for all of us. The expression is different, but the truth is the same, right?
I can feel the 3 archetypes kind of standing behind us also, and with gratitude and thanks and pride that they're, we got to represent them. So that's really neat, and just kind of receiving their presence. And I still see the golden braid being, being woven. And to know that I'm hearing the word initiation, like this has been 17 episodes of some sort of initiation for us individually as well. And there is like an invitation for us to just take a breath and receive a deeper initiation from the 3 fates. So if you want to feel that for yourself, and maybe some viewers and some listeners might feel that for themselves also. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I just keep hearing the word receive the initiation. And for me, I could feel it at my throat chakra. I actually just feel like in an interesting way, like my throat got slit, like a sacrifice.
Like, what do you mean? Like you had to sacrifice?
No, it's like how I see my life is I'm in a constant surrender of sacrifice. Like I'm in a willing sacrifice of my existence in this lifetime to be completely in flow with whatever I'm being asked to be in. And so I do understand, like when you Deanne, when you wanted to, like this came so clearly for you at the end of this, I respect that so deeply because I've witnessed that so much in myself. That when there's one strong voice that when it comes through my system, I can recognize it so deeply, and it's it's like shaking, earth shatters in my body. And when that happens, there's nothing I can do to deny that voice. Nothing, no matter what, I can't. And that's happened to me many, many times. I orchestrate my life through that voice, and I never argue with it. I just surrender to it. I sacrifice my free will to it. And knowing that also my higher self is orchestrated my free will in a higher way, and I'm happy to do it. So just more, it's a willing sacrifice, yeah. And so there's something about initiation and a deeper sacrifice of maybe even more embodiment of the archetype of life for whatever's coming for me next.
I feel that I'm being pulled down into the underground and into the underworlds, which I know very, very well. But I can feel the death archetype all around me, and it's like dark and bright and beautiful and all the things. And my gene key and my life purpose is 55, which is freedom. And I just hear it saying, I'm going to teach you how to be free. Death is liberation. So that's kind of cool. Looking forward to that initiation. I feel like I've already been living that, but anytime, like sometimes you ever be like, I've done that. And then like light or like the universe is just like, hold my beer. Like you think you know this archetype, you think you know this cycle, like let's go again.
Yeah.
And again. And
another
you're like,
layer.
Holy shit. You want to call that the hero's journey, you want to call that whatever, but it's just like, and I can just feel all like, I had a beautiful breathwork session the other day held for me, and a card pulled in it. I'm a big dreamer. You guys know that. Pisces dream. I see lots of things that I want to bring into this world. And the card said, don't be a slave to anything. It was freedom was the card. Don't be a slave to anything, even your dreams. And so it really shifted even like how I feel like I've been like momentuming towards creating this dream, but I'm like, oh, at what price has it been? And it's actually been a steep price on my personal life, like doing lots and lots of things. And so, and like, it was that invitation into being like, oh, in what ways am I not free with this dream? And I can feel death coming in on that one and being like, right, step back, see it shifting. So I'm deeply grateful for this relationship that is going to continue to teach me. Yeah. It's cool.
I think mine came in through my head, lots of opening. So it pulled me back up. You're like, I'm going down. I was like, oh, I'm going up. Yeah, it's just lots of pressure, but like open channels in my head is what I was feeling. And it pulled me up. So I don't necessarily see like I'm like floating in the ether. Not exactly sure. It just feels open there. So I don't know what that means. Maybe
Time will tell.
Time will tell. It's like you guys said, like I heard this voice or this decision really, really strong, but it's not like it was like, oh, I got to leave this in order to do this. Like my future feels like kind of like I'm not seeing any either. Like I'm not seeing my births. I feel like I can feel and sense that there's something coming, but I have no idea. Yeah. Right. So I'm just like, also like, this is, weird. It's like, okay, I honor that. And who knows? Your eyes twitching.
It's twitching all week, nonstop.
You need some sleep.
I've been sleeping pretty good the last 3 days, but yes.
Yeah.
I'm still really tired.
I saw it go, do.
No, it's been twitching all week like crazy. Left eye.
I feel like this is a perfect ending. As death coming in, I want to like Into the unknown. A little bit of Frozen 1 or 2, I can't remember, but
Bring it back to Disney, please.
yeah, please,
Please
for that
bring it
one.
back to- yeah.
You know, I think it is Disney. Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is the best. Don't bother with
Still
Frozen
haven't
1.
watched it. We talked about this ages
I'm
ago.
so
I
upset
know.
with you.
What is that one line? The cold doesn't bother me anyway.
Is that 1 or 2?
I don't know.
I
That's
gotta
just the
watch
one
it
that
too.
I
Let's have a
always
date.
listen to with
Let's have
my
a date.
kids.
We'll watch Frozen 2
Yeah.
as a date. Okay, because you need to. Everyone who wants to do life needs to watch Frozen 2.
Yeah.
If I have one piece of advice that I leave,
Watch it on my big screen.
We started with Disney, we end with Disney.
continuity, folks. But yeah, Into the Unknown. Sorry.
Let's leave each of you a little advice. If it would be like the last time someone online would see.
Oh my goodness,
God,
that's too much.
pressure.
Watch Frozen 2. I got it. Watch Frozen 2.
Watch Frozen 2.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. I got one.
All right.
Surrender all your free will. No, I'm joking.
Okay. Keeping it light.
Just joking. Follow your heart. Like honestly, follow
Yeah.
that loud voice within you.
Yeah,
Trust
that's
it.
That's what Frozen 2 is about. So.
Trust it. Yeah. Yeah. Trust that loud voice. It's never gonna fail you.
That's also Frozen 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like with Pam because this
AKA Frozen 2.
Just watch the movie. For a 90-minute summation of that, watch Frozen 2.
yeah. I'm on the heels of Pam because this all started because of me of having a loud voice. I lived a lot of my life ignoring my voices and going way past end dates. And in my higher self, in my will, made the choice to not live that way. And so I honored a voice, and it was hard, but here we are, and it's still beautiful. So listen to the heart. And follow that, and creativity follows. And like I agree, wait for the time when it does tell you. Love everybody. We love you all.
It's
We
been
do.
a
Thank you so much.
absolute pleasure. And this is the Three Fates signing off for now.
We love you.
Well, guys, this is just me now. This is it. I just wanted to leave you a little message as well, as I am behind the camera. And, you know, it's been great. It's been an honor for me. I'm really wanted to thank you guys for having me, trusting me in this project. You know, a lot of what I'm trying to do with my life is help or participate into any form of expression or art. These are things that I highly resonate with, and it was part of my own journey to unlock myself to just be able to talk in front of a camera or be around people that are doing this, because this is very hard and I could have never done it in the past. So I always like to be involved with these kind of things because we need to express ourselves more in this world. We're here for it. So thank to the Three Fates. And thank to you for watching it, you know, because this whole thing makes sense when it is shared. Although by itself, it still makes sense, you know. But when it's watched and shared and understood, it makes it more. It gives it more meaning, like any form of art, I think. Anyway, now you see my face because maybe some of you heard me a little bit sliding little lines but never saw me. So here I am. Sorry to disappoint if it's disappointing, but it's all good. It's all good. My strengths are not how I look. I'll say this. And I just feel like I want to leave slide a little thing, not me personally, but as I don't know if you know, I was kind of like holding the archetype of eternity. I didn't choose this. Was these women forced it on me, and I accepted it because I saw no other choice. But I just feel like I want to say, you know, in this experience and how we live our life, we always look forward, we always look in the future, we have goals, and we're chasing these goals, and we feel like today we're lacking some things. We feel like we'll feel better, we'll be better
when we'll have this, when we'll have that, when we'll get there, right? Like we always hear this thing like, I'll get there, we'll get there. I feel like this is a message to tell you that there's nowhere to get, because as you will get where you think you want to be, I promise you, the next day, something else will pop up and will make you feel like, oh, now I'll be better or good when I'll get there again and again and again and again. And no matter what you achieve, no matter what you do, I promise you, just after there will be something else to do, something else to achieve. So this is not to say don't try to achieve things. No, we're here for it. But don't think that you're lacking, that you're broken, that you have to necessarily look for something or do a lot of things to get somewhere, because it takes away where you are today and the appreciation of the present moment. And we're always chasing, and it's never ending. Until the end, you will feel like you need this, you need that, to feel better. But no, it's infinite. It will never end. So this, again, not to tell you not to do it. We need to do these things, but to create more appreciation for this present moment. And I will leave with this sentence I'm hearing, which is, the destination is the appreciation of the present moment. Or something like that. All right, it's getting late. Everyone left. It's just me. I'll stop ranting because I'm going to talk forever. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to everyone. Thank you, guys. And it is the end of a series. But who knows what's going to happen next? Stay tuned. Bye.